Hey guys, it's Kubrich here from Kick It to Scoops. I am the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumours and results. You want to be part of the show, Kick It to Scoops? Send through your questions through the Facebook link, which I'll attach every show on the post. And if you want to email me at aflinfolive@gmail.com, send through your questions and you may feature on the show and be answered your question from yours truly, Kubrich, for free. Yes, for free. If you want to be on the show, as I said, send it through and I'll get back to you. Go Saints! Stop the music, stop the music, stop the bloody music. I am going to start off with something very, very important. I promoted it and I'm now going to dish it out. A St Kilda review. You know I'm a passionate Saints fan and member, but there's things going wrong in all facets at the moment. And one of them is not only the playing list, the injury list, but also the coaches. Not necessarily Brett Ratton, but it's been the CEO, Simon Lethlean, Matty Finnis, and the few other people in the higher-ups, and Simon Lethlean and co, with the transparency of how they've been promoting the football club and lying in some facets, whether it's about injuries or about whatever it's about. But I'm going to go through what is the problems, what needs to change, what doesn't need to change, some people need to cut some slack a bit on, and leave the disrespect comments too, like Max King and Jack Higgins. But I'm going to go through every player on the list in brief summary in what needs to change and what doesn't need to change. So we'll start off with the coaching staff. Now, Brett Ratton's fine. So people underneath, Aaron Hamill, who's the backline coach, never played backline in his life, gone already. Brendan Lade, I'm not so sure. But Aaron Hamill should be gone. Ratton's safe for now, but if the trends happen again, he may be in trouble for the following year after, at the end of next year. But in saying that, Alan Richardson had a long list of injuries and he still got dumped halfway through the season. Felt bad for Richo, so we have to feel for Ratton as well. Now, the playing list, the list that is not going to go unscathed at all. We'll start off in alphabetical, it's not alphabetical order, in numerical or whatever you call it, number order. Number 1, Nick Caulfield, in and out of the side. And so he should be out of the side at the moment. He's been terrible this year. He'd be someone personally that I'd be putting on the trade table. Number 2, Jake Carlisle, injured at the moment, had some good games this year. It's West Coast against Nick Naitanui. He beat him in the ruck. Yes, Nick Naitanui beat in the ruck. So Jake Carlisle may be retiring out of the season anyway, but if he's not, he should be kept on the list for at least another season. Number 3, Zach Jones. As a pass mark, when he hasn't been injured the multiple times he has been this year, he's been more than serviceable, so he deserves to stay on the list, clearly. Jay Gresham, number 4, he's injured all the time the last 2 years. He's a gun player. He's safe. Number 5, Brad Crouch. Been a great recruit, Trolls. Great recruit this year. His last 4 weeks in particular have been dominant, so he's safe. Seb Ross in the leadership group, experienced midfielder. He's safe also. Number 7, and someone who they tried to ship off to the Crows last year in the compensation they tried to get for Brad Crouch, Luke Dunstan. Well, Luke, you personally know how I felt a few times, but yeah, be lucky on the list, mate. You should be gone at the end of the season, no doubt. Yes, you try hard. There's nothing wrong with that. You do always try your best, but your skills are amateur level, mate. Sorry. We'll go number 8, Bradley Hill. Now, an interesting one. Clearly, he's staying on the list and deserves to. For his quality, he's underperformed. Rats has used the excuses after excuses defending him, but his skills this year have been good when he's had the ball, but he can't lay a tackle at all, and he needs to build up on that part of his game. He needs to be able to be strong in tackling because he's tackling this year. He's just been broken away far too easily. Number 9, the skipper, the man of steel, Jack Steele. What can I say anymore about the co-skipper? He's fantastic. He's safe. He's a gun. He's a man of steel. He's in my All-Australian squad, which I'll get to very soon. Number 10. Wow. We'll move on to number 10, and that is none other than Dan Hanebry. Hannes is been injured a lot this year, or previous few years. Might be the way for him to end his career this year, unfortunately. And he's still got another year on his contract. Been a good player when he has played. I think he's played 13 games for St Kilda. He's been serviceable in all 13 games, but we have to wait and see. Hunter Clark, number 11. Well, yeah. Look, he's performing pretty well this year. He broke his jaw courageously in a big effort against David McKay from the Crows, which we'll get to later. But, yeah, he's been good this year when he's played. Number 12, Maxi King Winks. Yes, his goal kicking hasn't been great this year, but, guys, cut him some slack. Matty Lloyd, you're one. Kane Corns, you're one. I can name the whole media, for God's sake. Lift your game and leave Max alone. He's doing fine. His goal kicking may not be great, but he's doing fine, so shut up. Number 13, Jack Loney. People won't ever go Loney. At least he's got guts. He tries, unlike some. He's been dropped in and out of the side this year, unfairly, I think. And Loans is a handy player, so shut up, trolls. Number 14, the inspirational skipper, or co-skipper now, in Jaron Geary. Tough as nails, tougher than Joel Selwood, trolls. He is the toughest player in the competition. Look at all the courageous injuries he's had to his leg when in the game in China. He's broken his leg, now done his shoulder. He's tough. He does anything for that footy club, and he's a great leader. And Jaron Geary, he's a great player as well, and a great person, an all-round fantastic player and bloke is the skipper, Jaron Geary. 15, Jack Billings. People saying they should trade him. No, he's still ever reliable, consistent, getting 20-plus every game. A good ball user, so JB does stay. Number 16, Dan Butler, as BT would say. Butler, yes, he's underperformed a bit this year, which has been disappointing, to be honest, and should have been dropped. With all the injuries, it's a bit hard to drop someone when there is no one in to pick from. Number 18, Paddy Ryder, missed the start of the year for personal reasons. He's still doing fine. His tap work's been pretty good, but he probably needs to impact a bit more around the ground. Well, I take that back. He's been pretty consistent. So, yeah. Number 19, his counterpart in the ruck, Rowan Marshall, who's been injured a fair bit this year. He's did pretty well when he's played, but unfortunately he's been out for so long. We'll move on to number 20, Dougal Howard. Obviously, he's been great this year. His ball use, his decision-making hasn't been the greatest, but he's still going all right. Now, one of the guys like Caulfield and Dunstan that I've blasted so far, 21, Ben Long. Got another year on his contract, unfortunately. Ben, people love to pump you up last year saying you're tough as nails and that. Tough, dumb, stupid, whatever words you want to put. Ben Long should not even be on our list, let alone North Melbourne's list at the moment. He's terrible. Should be lucky to get in a VFL game, though. He's has been terrible. Number 22, another guy that they need to cut some slack on, like I said about Max King, is Jack Higgins. He's had a great year. Yes, his goal kicking hasn't been great the last few weeks. But before that, I think he was 17 goals, 8 for the season, something like that. So last time I checked, that's pretty good. So cut Jacko some slack. Move on to number 23 is Jack Bytel, a young midfielder that the Saints, Simon Lethling, said is untouchable in terms of being dropped. Then he was dropped 4 days later. Jack's a good young inside mid. Will continue to have a good career at the Saints, hopefully. If not, he would elsewhere. We'll move on to number 24, Chip Frawley. James Frawley. Well, there's not much to say. He's been injured most of this year. When he's played, he's been serviceable. But, that will move on from Chip Frawley. Number 25, Dean Kent. He's been injured a lot this year. But, in fact, pretty much all of this year. Bar the start, first few rounds. Had a few concussion issues. Should be in the team when he's back fit. Number 26, Josh Bell. Now, Josh Bell had some pretty good games last year, but this year he's fallen out of form dramatically. Josh should be dropped to the VFL, but the problem is we only got about 5 players to pick from, so they won't drop him. But Josh should be in the VFL at the moment, the way he's going. Pretty poor, to be honest. Number 27, Sean Mccurdon. Well, depth player, so that's pretty much all he is. But handy depth when he's at his best, which he showed a fair bit at Essendon. Move on to number 28. We'll move on to 28. Timmy Membry, the best hybrid forward in the competition trials. Tim Membry. Don't like it, move on. Don't care. Tim Membry is a beast, great player, and there's not much more I can say. Jimmy Webster, pretty handy, reliable defender. Matt Allison, a young developing player, probably be the list end of the year. Ryan Burns, a young mid, number 31, pretty handy. Mason Wood, number 32, being pretty handy. Ben Patton, injured at the moment, small defender. Tommy Highmore, 34, going okay. Jack Sinclair, who's a smoky for the All-Australian squad, is going pretty handy. Dan McKenzie, injured. Leo Connolly, young player. Oscar Claverino should be dropped off the list. Darragh Joyce, the same. Paul Hunter, the same. And Matty Max Heath, a mid-season draftee, as is Cooper Sharman. Cal Wilkie, reliable in defence, and Sam Alabakis, well, wouldn't even get a game at reserve level. Would Sam Alabakis is pretty embarrassing. He's on the list, but he's a Category B rookie. Now, that's all my honest thoughts on St Kilda. In summary, guys, look, the injuries are cruel. So I've been saying this all along. People want to say, every club has injuries. Yeah. Well, when St Kilda got 5 players to pick from a squad of 42 outside of their emergencies, so really 9 overall, shows that the injuries are real. And there's players like Paddy Ryder, Rowan Marshall, Zach Jones have been in and out all season. So cut St Kilda some slack. Yes, there's some clubs in the same position, but so are the Saints. So that is my review on the Saints. Now, hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Cooper Gretch, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumours and results. Now that we got that review out of the way, it's time to get into some of the best segments of the show. Now, we're going to go through the segments today. The segments also include Scoops Goes Bang, everyone's favourite segment, my rolling All-Australian team, the review and preview of the rounds gone and to come now, the hero of the week. I'm going to have 3 heroes of the week this week, some of your audio messages, and my final thoughts. We'll move on to Scoops Goes Bang. The umpiring. I seem to bring up the umpiring every single week, and I have a right to bring it up every week. The umpiring is absolutely crap. I mean, the umpiring in the St Kilda Adelaide game was terrible. The North Melbourne GWS game umpiring was terrible. The West Coast Richmond game umpiring was terrible. The Melbourne Pies game was terrible umpiring. Like, I'm serious. I'm sick of bringing it up every week. See, I can't speak. I'm so mad at these stupid umpires. Like, seriously, guys, I say it's a tough job. Yes, okay, if you get a decision wrong here and there, but it's happening every freaking week. Lift your games. Like I said in a post, get rid of a whole umpiring department. That free against Dougal Howard, opposed to Riley Thilthorpe, was embarrassing 9 minutes ago. Cost St Kilda the game. The momentum, people say, the margin, but if they would still have lost by a point, blah, blah, blah. No, trolls. It's the momentum swings that the umpires have cost many teams this year. They've done it to Essendon, they've done it to St Kilda a few times. Adelaide won a few games off umpiring decisions. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The umpiring is a joke. North Melbourne fans would have been hard done by, I suppose, the game in Tassie where they had their draw against Giants. So the umpiring is terrible. Sack them all and recruit some more umpires, for God's sake. Now, the next and final Scoops Goes Bang is the trolls. You trolls in the comments. I'm seriously sick of it. People have to comment and say stuff like, how did you pick this guy in your team, blah, blah, blah. It's my opinion. You don't like it, get lost. Seriously, I would want to say other words, but I can't. Get lost. Don't like my opinions, that's fine. I never said you have to agree with them. But don't like them, but get lost. Go away. Don't care. Don't need you. I've got 41,000 plus loyal followers. So if you don't like what I say, that's fine. Don't have to agree, but get lost. Seriously. As Bev would say, get a grip. Now, another thing too I want to point out in reference to in the comments, if you want to have an opinion on something that I post, whether it's about my rolling All-Australian team of the week, whatever it is, my Brownlow votes, that's fine. But you've got to give your own reasons as to why so-and-so should replace so-and-so, not just say, this St Kilda player should be out, but this Bulldogs player, yet one's a half-back like Jack Sinclair and Bonapelli's a mid-forward. Like, you just can't say that. You just say that because it's a St Kilda player. Give a position-to-position player you want to replace, say, Jack Sinclair or half-back, fine. Name a replacement at a half-back, not a midfielder or someone that can push forward. Thank you very much. You just, rival me up and I'm just sick of it. I'm just going to block more people. They want to complain and complain and complain. Now, that's a very special edition of Scoops Goes Bang. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, we'll move on to my rolling All-Australian team, which is a very heavily debated All-Australian team. A few changes to the team this week, but I'm going to go through the team as I always do, starting in the back line. An unchanged back six, in fact. Jake Lloyd from the Swans, another great game on the weekend. Sam Collins, who was a late withdrawal on the weekend. We'll wait and see how he goes this week, but he's had a terrific season for why he stays in. Isaac Cumming, young gun from the Giants in the half-back line, is in my pocket. Having a great year. Jack Crisp was crisp with his disposal last week. Yesterday, in fact, for the Pies against Melbourne. So he deserves his spot on the side, as does Darcy Moore. Had over 1%ers. Darcy Moore's still in great form. Daniel Rich, likewise, they had the bye this week, but Daniel Rich is still having a great season nonetheless. We'll move on to the wingers. Still Sam Walsh and Ollie Wines. Yes, they're not wingmen, but other than maybe Andrew Gaff, as I mentioned last week, and Paul Seedsman, there's not really any other dominant wingmen. And Sam Walsh and Wines had better seasons than the two I just mentioned there, so they stay there. And the centreman is still Jack Stills and Still 34 possessions, trials on the weekend. Still deserves his spot in the team. In the half-forward line, we've got David Mundy, Ben King, and Toik Miller. Toik Miller is averaging 31 touches this year. Missed 1 week suspension. If he had not been suspended, he probably would be a contender for the Brownlow at the moment, but he's ineligible now, unfortunately, so he can't win, but he can still get a spot in the All-Australian team, and I think he's a lock at this stage. David Mundy had 2 and 20 on the weekend, and Ben King was kept goalless. There'll be people I'll be keeping an eye on for the next few weeks to see if they fall out with the side. And in the forward pockets, we've got Tex Walker. The key forward is Harry Mackay at full forward. And a new addition to the team in the pocket, purely because there's not any good small forwards at the moment, consistently anyway, is Josh Bruce. Now, people are going to say, an ex saying again, what a shock. And the Bulldogs didn't play this week. Well, Charles, as I've alluded to the last few weeks, Josh Bruce has been in contention. His last 3 games, he hit a goal in his last game. The 2 games before that, he kicked 3 against Melbourne and St Kilda. And he deserved his spot in the side. And he's replaced Jack Darling, and who's had pretty quiet the last 3 weeks. So I've given him some chances. I'm not saying that Jack Darling can't get back in the side, but Joshy Bruce has replaced him in the side. Now, the ruckman. Now, I've had Tom Hickey. I've had Brodie Grundy. I've had debated about Max Gawn. But it's neither of those 3 as the new ruckman. I've gone for a smoky in Sean Darcy from the Dockers, who's replaced Tom Hickey in the team. Sean Darcy has been terrific for the Dockers, particularly the last month, and he's had a pretty consistent season. If you look at his stats, he's pretty similar to the top-tier ruckman in the competition this year. So Sean Darcy deserves his spot in the starting lineup as this main and solo ruckman in my squad. So for my 22. And his followers are still Jackson McRae and Tom Mitchell, unchanged there. Tom Mitchell had another great game on the weekend. And interchange, I did debate about a few spots, whether some of these players would go onto the ground or come out. I've decided with still Luke Parker, Clayton Oliver, Callum Mills, and Zach Merritt. So overall, it changes from my round 12 rolling All-Australian team. In is Josh Bruce, so I alluded to, and Sean Darcy. Out is Jack Darling and Tom Hickey. Now, we will move on to reviewing and previewing the rounds just gone and upcoming round. So round 13 results, we'll just quickly go through them. Adelaide and Geelong, 21-point victory to Geelong. Could have gone either way. This side, Connor Rosie, 4 in the first quarter, but Geelong, led by Jeremy Cameron in the end, got over the line against the Power in Adelaide. The Swans, defeated by the Hawks by 38 points. What a victory for the Hawks in Sydney. The Swans will be disappointing headed into their bye, and the Hawks will be up and about, especially when they got Essendon this week. So the Hawks, John Segler was a late replacement and probably got the best on ground for me. If not, he was second best on ground. The Dockers and the Suns, Gold Coast had their chances. They even did have a few chances late, but blew it. And the Dockers prevailed late in the last and had a 27-point victory over the Suns in Perth. The Saints and Crows. The Crows were 6-point winners, unfortunately, for my Saints. Started off well, 36-0. But, look, it is what it is. It was disappointing. Shouldn't have got to that position, but the umpiring late was poor. What a surprise. North Melbourne and GWS, the first draw of the year in Tassie on Sunday. What a great game this was. There's always that one dominant side of the ground in Tassie, and it proved it to be the case. All the scoring was effectively on one side, and it was a good last quarter from the Giants, but they'd be pretty disappointed the first 3 quarters. North Melbourne also would be disappointed the way they coughed up a 28-point lead or so at 3-quarter time. The game Sunday night in Perth, West Coast Richmond, the Eagles, 4-point victory over the Tigers. And Mr. Kennedy, yes, Josh Kennedy, the hero, after 38 seconds to go, kicked the winning goal from the boundary. Josh Kennedy, what a great game. He had 4 goals as well. Josh Kennedy, loved it. Now, you referenced that Mr. Kennedy. Why did I say Mr. Kennedy like that? That WWE reference that a lot of people like that analogy that I used, or the reference for Mr. Kennedy, for Josh Kennedy. Yes, I loved it too. Hence why I went for it. And I pre-planned it. As soon as Josh King kicked their goal, thought of it instantly and thought, that's what I'll post. And a lot of people loved it. And the final game on Queen's birthday was Melbourne and Melbourne and the Pies. The Pies upset the D's. Are they gone? They're going to Mount Buller. The Pies, 17-point victories in Bucks' final game as coach. I'll be mentioning Bucks a few times after this, so we'll leave that at that. So, yeah, the following games now, we'll preview the games for round 14. Only 5 games this round due to the buys still. The final round of the buys, thank God. At GMHBA on Friday night, we have Geelong and the Bulldogs. As of right now, there is no crowd. There's a possibility that may change. But at GMHBA, I was going to go Geelong, and the Bulldogs, I don't know, it's 50-50 here. I might go Geelong at home. At Mccurdon Stadium on Saturday, we got the Gold Coast Suns and Adelaide. I'm going to go for the Power just. North Melbourne and Brisbane. This game is now in Tassie, not at Marvel, but that won't change too much. You wouldn't think the Brisbane Lions should be far too good. No Dane Zorko. He accepted that 1-week suspension last week. Saturday night, we've got the Giants and Carlton at Giants Stadium. GWS should be far too good. They would want to bounce back up to their average performance against the Blues in Tassie. And the final game in Launceston in Tasmania, we got Essendon v Hawthorn. I think Essendon will win, but neutral ground, not really neutral ground. Hawthorn play some home games there. So I'm going to go for an upset. If they can beat the Swans, they can beat the Bombers. So I'll say Essendon, but the Hawks are a red-hot chance. Now, we will move on to my heroes of the week. Normally it's hero of the week, but we'll call it this week heroes of the week. We'll move on to the first hero. Now, the Denmark Soccer Club in the Euro 2020 competition, there was some dreadful scenes with Eriksson, one of the players, collapsing. It reminded me of Dylan Robinson from a long time ago, former Saint now, who's retired recently earlier this year from heart problems. And it was a sickening scene to see a few years ago live watching Dylan Robinson collapse. It was really scary times. And to see at the time teammate Jack Nunes and Jake Carlisle sprinting to Robbo and seeing it happen was really, really scary. And it was a similar scenes in the soccer in the Euro 2020 with Christian Eriksen, a Denmark player. I'm not sure the captain's name, so I apologise on the name. But the Denmark captain got around him. They, had tried to help him. They had to perform CPR. I just want to say to the Denmark captain who saved Christian Eriksen, you are the clear standout for my hero of the week. So hopefully that with Christian Eriksen's on the improve, as reports say, so hopefully he just saved his life. So the Denmark captain, you are by far the hero of the week, and I'd be fair to say probably the hero of the year. So congratulations to the Denmark soccer captain. Some other heroes of the week, Hunter Clark, the courageous act with David McKay from the Crows with that bump that broke his jaw in a few places, 6 to 8 weeks in a miss. Hunter Clark, as I said in my review, started the season off well, had a few off weeks the last few weeks, missed a week of injury, come back the last few weeks, had 8 possessions early in the first quarter, so he was performing pretty well. To have that sickening clash with David McKay, who's been referred to the tribunal, Hunter Clark, that was a courageous effort, my friend. As I said about Jaron Geary, how courageous he is, that was a Jaron Geary type courageous act, Hunter. So well done, mate, and hopefully to see you back later in the year. And my third and final hero of the week is Bucks, Nathan Buckley. People want to criticise him all they want. The media love to, get a coach out of the coaching job, like they did with Alan Richardson, like they've done with previous coaches, and now they've got Bucks out of the job unfairly. The Pies have improved in the last few weeks, but it was probably all too late for Bucks. But you know what? Bucks is the hero. I've got a little quick story I want to mention on Nathan Buckley. Some people in the post, I do not appreciate the comments of people, disregarding the respect towards myself and Bucks. I had some personal things going on a while back, and Nathan Buckley helped me, get through it. He helped me a lot of things. He gave me an opportunity that not many people get an opportunity to do. And Bucks, again, I want to congratulate you on a great career, not only as a player for Collingwood, clearly, but as a coach for the Pies, got through to the 2018 grand final against West Coast. If it wasn't for Dom Sheed, he would have been a premiership coach. So Bucks, all the best in your career, mate. And again, I thank you personally for the moment that you did for me a while back. So Bucks is my other hero of the week. Now we will move on to the next segment, which is your audio messages. So we're going to hear some of your audio messages right now. And I want to point out too, guys, there may be someone making another appearance from the last week's episode. Here's the first message.
Yeah, g'day, Scoops. Jack here, mate. First time listener, long time caller. I just wanted to get your take on a few comparisons on who you think the better player is. And I'm a Saints fan too, so it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts, mate. Firstly, Brad Crouch or Cam Guthrie. Then Jack Sinclair or Jeremy McGovern. And finally, Max Gawn or Tom Hickey. Cheers for that, Coops, and keep sticking it to those trolls, mate.
Yeah, so we'll keep sticking it to the trolls, mate. You said Brad Crouch or Cam Guthrie. They're both good players. So even Jack Sinclair and Jeremy McGovern is a poor comparison. One's a half-back, one's a key defender, so there's no answer there. And the other one you said was Max Gawn or Tom Hickey. Well, in general, Max Gawn, but Tom Hickey is having the better year at the moment. We'll move on to the next question.
Yeah, g'day, Cooper. Joseph Fritzl here. Big fan of the show, mate. Who do you think the Saints need to target in the off-season to be premiership contenders? Thanks for that, mate. See ya.
Good question, my friend. Saying what does St Kilda need to target in the off-season to become premiership contenders? Well, Paddy Ryder's going to be retiring at the end of next year. So you're going to need that relief ruckman with Rowan Marshall. Ideally, Rowan Marshall can play forward with Tim Membry and Max King, would have the forward line set up perfectly. So you probably need another ruckman. Rowan Marshall can be forward as the main ruckman also, but then you would need probably some support from Max King and Timmy Membry up forward. So balance either of the two. That's one key point they need to target. And probably a key defender as well. Dougal Howard's there. Jake Carlisle's about to retire soon. James Frawley will be retired after this year, if not end of next year. So they need to get another experienced key defender. There are a lot of halfbacks, but key forward and key forward / ruck. And definitely a key back to help Dougal Howard. Good question, though, my friend. Next one.
Yeah, g'day, Boo. Coops. Darren here. Just got a question for you. Long-time listener, first-time caller. So if you had to have dinner with one of the following, who would you choose? Marcus Bontempelli, Dustin Martin, and Christian Petrarca. Thanks for that, mate. Kiss it on the lips. See ya.
Thanks, Aaron. Oh, sorry, Darren. Who would I want to have dinner with out of the Petrarca, Martin, and Bontempelli? This is irrelevant, isn't it? But if I had to pick one, we'll go Marcus Bontempelli. Aaron, not Darren. Aaron. We'll move on to the next question.
Hello, Cooper. Philip from Belgrade, Serbia here again. It must have been a very tough weekend for you, watching the St. Kildas go down like that. I mean, as a very casual fan, it's hard to sort of know what happened. Only scoring the 6 points in the second half. So I just thought I'd ask you, Cooper, what do you think went wrong for the Saints, and where do you see them going from here for the rest of the season? Thank you, Cooper.
Thank you, Philip from Serbia. Again, asked two great questions last week and another great question there. So, Philip, continue to watch the show. I really do appreciate your comments. You're sending audio messages through, mate, and listening to the show and following AFL football from Serbia. So, really do appreciate that, mate, very much, to have an international following. But, yeah, your question about St Kilda, what went wrong, mate? I don't know, maybe it's complacency. St Kilda seemed to get a lead on its side, and it seems to me that they think, oh, yeah, that's enough. They never want to bury a team out of 50-plus points. They're always happy to get 4 to 5 goals up, then they take it easy, then they either win by a goal or two and not really as convincing, or do what they did and cough up a lead, and it was disappointing. But in saying that, the Dougal Howard free kick against him supposedly was ridiculous. It led to Adelaide getting the momentum late in the last quarter and eventually getting the win. But thanks, Philip, for your I think that was the last question, I believe. Now we got one more final question, which we're going to get to now.
Hello, Scoops. My name is Ines from Nigeria. I have a question. Ben Ratton coaches the Essendon Bombers, and Brett Ratton coaches the St Kilda Saints. Is this the first time ever two brothers have coached different AFL teams before at that same time? would love to hear if there was any other brothers who have coached AFL teams before. Thank you again.
Okay, I don't know if you're being serious or not, my friend, but let's just say that you are. Yeah, there has been coaches, there's the brothers that have been coached before. Chris and Brad Scott, the former North Melbourne coach and the current Geelong coach. So, yes, there has been. And while I'm at it, Brett Ratton haven't even got the same last name, mate, so you need to do your research or hear the pronunciation of their names. Ratton. They're not even the same name, so how can they be brothers? So, yeah, I appreciate that, guys. I hope you enjoyed all the questions we have answered today. My St Kilda review, my rolling all Australian Scoops goes being a whole variety of topics. But till next week, everyone, have a great one and take care. And most importantly, go Saints! Oh. You thought I was done. No, you want me on Cameo. I didn't mention it at the start, so I'm going to mention it right now. Head to cameo.com/CooperG. As I said, you want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/CooperG. And before I go, also the merch. I do really appreciate the people that have bought all the merch. I'm going to give you a little teaser. The merch that people have purchased is out, and we really do appreciate all the people that have purchased it and some of the people that have displayed themselves wearing my merch. I really do appreciate that. The people that have privately sent the photos through or on that post, just seen there, a young man. I really do appreciate that. Until next time, everyone, have a good one, all the best, and most importantly, go Saints!